Hello everyone, my name is Bryony Rathmell and I'm the Workplace Training Lead for Mind in Bradford. Thank you very much for joining me wherever you are while you're watching this. But I just wanted to say a massive thank you from me and everyone else at Mind in Bradford for becoming one of our Mental Health Awareness Week champions. Your donation is really important and it's helped to fund a lot of our crucial frontline services, so thank you so much from me and everyone at Mind in Bradford as well. As way of thanks, we just wanted to share with you a little webinar around this year's theme for Mental Health Awareness Week, which is all around movement and moving more for our mental health. Before we get into the main part of the webinar, I just wanted to share with you a bit of information around why Mental Health Awareness Week is important, but also for us all to take the time to reflect and think about whatever we do as part of Mental Health Awareness Week, promoting positive workplace wellbeing, supporting others with their mental health, or taking time for ourselves as part of Mental Health Awareness Week. It shouldn't just be for that week. It should be for the whole year, 365 days. So it's just something to remember that it's great that we have this awareness week, but it's also so important that we carry on doing that for the rest of the year as well. So just something to think about. Our mental health at work is just as important as our physical health. And I think that's something that all of us do recognise, but maybe don't necessarily take the right steps or look after our mental health in the right way that we would normally do with our physical health. Some interesting facts as well to share: that more than half of employees feel they don't get enough support with their mental health at work, and only 38% of line managers feel they're equipped to have sensitive conversations about mental health. At Mind in Bradford, we recognise how difficult it can be for employees and employers as well to look after their mental health at work. So we want to do what we can to support you in your workplace, whether you're a line manager, whether you're a staff member, whoever you may be. We want to do what we can to support you at work with your mental health. I just wanted to start off with a little bit around how we can make movement accessible to everyone. So I just wanted to share with you some responses that I got from a few people when I asked them, what would your initial reaction be if I was to say to you, in the next 5 minutes we will be doing some exercise? And I just wanted to share some of the responses that I got with you, their initial gut reaction when I said that to them, just to kind of show you how we can make movement accessible and the different reactions that different people would have when we talk about physical exercise as well. One person said they haven't had enough coffee, whether that's maybe they're not a morning person or they just need a bit of coffee to function in the morning. Somebody said they'd be really hesitant and anxious, especially if it was in a group situation, doing it as part of a team at work. They said they'd find that they'd feel really hesitant and anxious about doing any kind of exercise. One person said they would love it. They would love to be involved, and bring on any challenges that they might be taking part in. Someone said how much. If it was walking, they've put yes, but if it was running, no, exclamation mark. They definitely wouldn't want to be taking part in any running. One person has put bring it on. They're ready to be involved and they're ready to take part in whatever kind of exercise or movement you might be taking part in at your workplace. And the last one did make me laugh a little bit as well. Where's the defib? So I just wanted to share those with you, just to point out that everybody has a different reaction when we say we're going to do some exercise. So when we think about trying to make any kind of exercise or movement that we might do accessible to everybody, for everyone to get involved, simply by changing the terminology that we use to movement rather than exercise means that more people can get involved and also want to be involved as well. And it's also important to consider that not everybody wants to do movement and exercise as part of a team at work. They might decide to do it at the start of their day before they start work. Some people like to do it at the end of the day. Some people like to just take 10 minutes on their own during the day to have some kind of movement, whatever that might be, whether it's a walk on their lunch. So yeah, it's important to bear that in mind as well when we think about making that movement accessible and how different people will react to movement and exercise in different ways. We're going to be looking at something slightly different as part of this webinar. So I must admit, if somebody was to say to me movement or exercise, I would solely think about it being physical exercise, going out for a run, going out for a walk, jog, whatever it is that you might be doing. But we're going to be looking at this from also an emotional and behavioural perspective as well. So thinking about how we can move our emotions and move our behaviours to support us with our mental health. So taking that kind of whole picture approach and looking at how physical movements, emotional movements and behavioural movements can all come together and support us with our mental health at work. Throughout the webinar today, there will be a few points where we're going to pause for a movement. So instead of for a moment, we're going to pause for a movement. So one thing that I wanted to share with you all was this video that I've come across, and it's all about what happens in your brain when you exercise, and it gives you some really good facts, also some really good hints and tips as well. So I would encourage you now, if you have time to watch the video, to pause, go away, watch the video and then come back where we will carry on talking about our webinar today. If you don't have time today, take some time, maybe at the end of the day, watch it later on in the week, or maybe even the week after, whenever's best for you. But it's a really good little video that just gives you a bit more of an insight into what happens in your brain when you exercise. Physical movement. So when we think about physical movement, research actually shows that there's 20 to 30% lower risk of depression for adults who exercise daily. And that daily exercise is recommended to be at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise. So that's things that get you breathing faster, you feel warmer, your heart rate goes up. So anything like walking, swimming, jogging, any of those kind of exercises are classed as moderate intensity exercise. Just 10 minutes of brisk walking can increase your mental alertness, energy, and improve your mood. I would highly recommend anybody that has a meeting in an afternoon to go out for a walk before. Whether it is on your lunch, whether it's directly before you go into your meeting maybe, but just that 10 minutes of brisk walking can really help you re-energise and refocus on whatever it is that you might be going into in that meeting. And just gives you time as well to clear your thoughts, clear your mind, and then you're going in there fresh, re-energised, and you're able to focus on whatever it is that you might be taking part in that meeting. As part of physical movement as well, one thing to consider is the 4 different types of exercises that we are supposed to do as part of that 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise. So they are endurance, strength, balance, and flexibility. All of those together in the right ratios have been shown to improve mental and physical health. When we think about endurance, that's things like we've talked about, the swimming, jogging, running, walking, whatever it is may be, kind of more of the cardio exercises. Strength could be going to the gym, lifting some weights, but not everybody can do that or wants to do that, because sometimes going to the gym can be a real barrier for some people. So we can also think about strength really simply in terms of lifting your own body weight. It might be carrying things, could even be carrying shopping. So anything like that, anything where we're kind of lifting, using our muscles in that way for a strength exercise. Balance can be things like yoga, but it can also be balancing your own body weight as well. And flexibility is kind of stretches. So again, it could link in with like yoga, Pilates, but also any kind of simple stretches. And you probably do a lot of them during the day without you even actually realising as well. We've got another pause for a moment. So this one now is an upper body stretch. I will be sharing some resources as part of the webinar which have some more of these desk exercises and stretches that you can do at your desk. But I would really encourage you to take the time to pause the video for a few minutes and have a go at the exercise, the desk exercise that is on your screen at the moment. A really good way to release any tension that you might be feeling in your body. Yeah, and a great way, again, like we've talked about, to help you feel re-energized, refocused, and then to be able to sort of uplift your mood a little bit for the rest of the day if you are at work. If you don't have time to do this now, or you don't feel comfortable doing this now, wherever it is that you may be, I would really encourage you and invite you to have a go at doing this maybe later on in the day, or even at home if you'd prefer to do it at home rather than doing it in a work environment. So for physical movement, I fully appreciate that all of us have very busy work-life balances, and sometimes it can be really, really hard to fit any kind of movement, exercise, activity, whatever it is it may be, to fit that into our work day. So here are a few helpful hints and tips that can hopefully help some of you to get some more movement into your day. Walk-in meetings. Some of you might already do these, but they can be a really, really useful way just to get some more movement in your day and also to get you up from your desk. We all have those days where we're sat down at a desk, we can't move, we've got meeting after meeting after meeting. So just taking the time for a walk-in meeting can be a great way to get some movement in your day. So if you're a manager, why not the next meeting you have with one of your staff members, turn it into a walk-in meeting? I know it can be hard if you need your laptop or you need a screen or you need to be able to make some notes or something like that. I have heard people that have recorded their meetings before. I'm not sure how useful that would be. But instead of doing the full meeting as a walk-in meeting, why not do the first part as a walk-in meeting where it's a check-in with the staff member, or the last part of the meeting as a check-in, just to change that scenery, yeah, and like we've said, getting more movement into your day. Desk movements. So hopefully all of you will have had a go at doing the desk movement that I shared earlier. But like I said, these can be a great way to relieve any kind of tension that you might be feeling in your body. You're just feeling like you're just needing to re-energize yourself a little bit. These can be a great way, and you can do them while you're sitting down as well and at your desk. So just take some time to do some stretches, whether that's a neck stretch, arm stretches, the upper body one that you've already had a go at, or some leg stretches as well. Really, really simple stretches that you can do, like I've said, while sitting down, but can be really helpful. Yeah, just to get a little bit more movement into your work day. Movement breaks as well. So we've talked a little bit about the walk-in meetings, but why not go out for a walk on your lunch? Or if things are feeling a little bit overwhelming, just take yourself out of the office and go for a little walk somewhere. If you don't have the privilege of being able to go outside and walk anywhere, try go for a walk around the office somewhere. Just that getting up and moving about can be really, really helpful. And you probably don't even realise it either. Other things that you can do might not be a popular opinion. If someone offers to make you a drink, make your own instead, and it gets you up off your seat. Go to the kettle, kitchen, wherever it is it may be, and then yeah, make your own drink. Another one as well is if you have lots of stairs in your office building and you've got a lift, try taking the stairs instead of the lift. So those really, really simple changes can be a great way to get more movement into your day, and you probably don't even realise that you're doing it either. And the last one is mini movements in meetings. These can be a great way if everybody's had quite a hectic day, everybody's really busy, everybody's maybe feeling a little bit agitated or wound up, and going into a meeting just to bring everybody back down to the same level. And also to start the meeting off on a good note. So these can be, really helpful at the start of a meeting, or if you've got a very long meeting, it can be a great way to divide and break up that meeting to make it more easier and manageable, really. So I have got an example of one for you to all try. Again, we've got another pause for a movement. So I would again invite you to take some time to pause the video and have a go at the mini movement that we have on here. I'll just talk you through it quickly, but it would be great if you would be able to take the time to do it. If you don't feel comfortable doing it now, wherever you're watching this, again, please take some time later on in the day, at the end of the day, to have a go at doing this as well. So take one hand, and then with your other hand, your index finger, you're going to trace round each of the fingers on your other hand. And as you do that, when you trace up a finger, you're going to breathe in, pause at the top, and then when you trace down, you're going to breathe out. And this can be a really, really useful mini movement to do in a meeting. Really great as well to support us again when we're thinking about the physical movement, but also the emotional and behavioural movement that we can get into our day as well. Using these little mini movements can help us also to move those emotions and move those behaviours, which we'll come on to talk about a little bit more now as well. Like we've said, we wanted to take a little bit more of a different stance point when we're thinking about movement and how we can move more to support our mental health. Not just from a physical perspective, but also from an emotional and behavioural perspective as well. And this is another great way that we can get more movement into our day, but also really make sure that we're taking time for self-care and being able to reflect on situations as well that might be happening at work, but also how we can support ourselves with that or support others in the workplace as well. Mindfulness and meditation can be great ways that we can move our emotions and also move how we behave in different situations as well. I have got another pause for a movement coming up where we'll explore one of these a little bit more. But there's a great one that you can do, which is around a body scan. So you start from very top of your head and you work all the way down to your toes. And as you do that, you tense your muscles, untense your muscles in every single part of your body, move all the way down to your toes. And just spending 5 minutes doing that can be a great way to just ground yourself and really reflect on kind of what's happening around you. This can be really helpful when things might feel overwhelming, work might be moving too fast and you can't keep up with the pace of it. It just helps to put things into perspective a little bit more as well. Reflective practice. So when we think about reflective practice, I would recommend that this is something best done when you are on your own. It's a great way for you to reflect on how your day might have gone, what you might have coming up, but you just sometimes need that space, time, that quiet to reflect on how you're feeling. Just doing a check-in with yourself to make sure, you know, that you're okay. Do you need anything? Do you need any support? So taking time to do things such as journaling can be a great way to do that. Another great way that you can do it is when you're driving home from work, taking some time to decompress on that drive home. Some people might find it useful to listen to classical music, or they might listen to a podcast, or they might listen to some mindfulness music. So all of those can be great ways to get some reflective practice into your day. And like we said, think about moving our behaviours and our emotions about, okay, so today didn't go very well, but how can I make sure that tomorrow is going to be a better day, or it's going to be a day where I'm going to be able to manage and cope with whatever it is that might be going on around me. Another way that we can shift our emotions and our behaviours is through shifting our mindsets. So some of you might have heard of the term catastrophizing before. If you haven't, it's all around where we think everything's going to be terrible, nothing's ever going to get better, how am I going to get out of this? And you end up getting yourself into this spiral, constantly thinking about the worst case scenario, and really getting yourself into quite a dark place, thinking quite negatively all the time. So one way that we can shift our mindsets is taking the time, similarly to reflective practice as well, to look at the bigger picture, think about what's in our control, think about what's not, and take some time to think about the changes that we can make and the changes that we can't, and build in that acceptance around, okay, this is completely out of my control, there's nothing I can do about it, but actually I can control this, so how am I going to control that? So taking the time to think about that bigger picture scenario and thinking about what I can do, actually to shift my mindset and think more positively rather than negatively, can be a great way to change how we also react in different situations as well. And my last tip around moving emotions and behaviours is around compartmentalising your day. Basically, it's just a fancy phrase for dividing your day up into sections. So a great way that you can do this is maybe spend an hour on emails. Maybe you've got a meeting in the afternoon that you need to do some prep work for, so you might spend another couple of hours prepping for your meeting that you've got. You might have some other important work that you need to do, so this has to be done today, so actually I'm going to spend the rest of the day working on this task. And taking the time to split your day up into those sections can be really helpful when work might feel like it's moving too fast. You can't possibly see the light at the end of the tunnel. So dividing your day up into sections can be a great way to move your emotions and not feel too overwhelmed with everything that might be going on around you as well. I fully appreciate that so many of us are so busy and it's not always possible to divide our day up into sections. So if you can't do that, have a go at dividing different tasks up into sections. So it might be a particular project that you might be working on, or you've got a specific deadline for a task that you might have to do. So split that task up into different sections. So you might spend the first part planning and prioritising what it is that you need to do, and then you're able to action from that the next steps and divide that task up into different sections. So taking the time to really break down what you have at hand and what it is that you need to do first and prioritise can be a great way to just make everything not feel so busy and so overwhelming. We've got another pause for a movement, and this one is a really good mindfulness grounding activity. So again, I would invite you to pause the video and have a go at doing this for yourself. But if you don't feel comfortable or you don't have time and you'd like to have a go at doing it later on, I would also invite you to do that as well. So this is a great grounding exercise for when you feel like work might be moving too fast, you're feeling quite overwhelmed, and you just really need to sort of bring yourself back and help put things back into perspective. So take note of your surroundings and notice things that you can see, feel, hear, smell and taste. So again, I'd invite you to pause the video and just have a go at the little mindfulness activity. What we have done as a little plan for Mental Health Awareness Week is we've pulled together a weekly plan of different activities that you might be able to include in your work week, in your workplace. This might be something that you encourage everybody in the workplace to do. It might be something that you do on your own and you think, actually, I'd quite like to do some of these things on my own. This can be a plan that you use, or it could just be a little bit of inspiration for you to get some ideas into your workplace around different movement that you all can take part in. And again, like we've said, think about how you can make these types of movements accessible for everybody. Some people might not want to do them on a Teams call. Some people might want to just take 10 minutes of their day to go do some of these themselves. So consider that when you're kind of planning these in or taking the time to do some of these yourself as well. So why not start the week off with 10,000 steps? On Tuesday, you might want to have a go at doing some yoga at your desk. There's some great videos online of different yoga exercises that you can take part in. I would encourage you to have a look at those and just spend 10 minutes doing it. Some of them are really short videos as well. You might want to do it as a team. You might want to do it on a video call. And some people, like we've said, might just want to take 10 minutes of their day to do it themselves. On Wednesday, why not have a go at some mindfulness? So thinking about that emotional movement and behavioural movement that we've been talking about. Headspace, if you've come across them before, have some great mindfulness activities. And there's a really good one here around a grounding activity. So I've already shared one with you, which again is a really good grounding activity that you can have a go at. And this one's a different one, so it's got music and there's a video that goes along with it as well. So why not have a go at that one on Wednesday? Thursday, why not arrange a team walk or try one of the walking meetings that we were talking about? If you can't go out on a walking meeting, maybe just take a colleague to go out with you and just go for a walk somewhere. I'd really encourage everybody, like we've said, that 10 minutes of brisk walking can really help to improve your mood, you feel re-energized. So even just, getting those 10 minutes in can make a massive difference to your work day. And on Friday, why not have a go at some desk movement? So whether it be some stretches that you might do at your desk. So hopefully some of you will like to take part in some of these, and it would be great to hear if any of you do or what you get up to in your workplace as well. So please do share those with us, because that would be fantastic. That would be great to see. As part of the webinar, what we have also done is we've created some really useful resources that you can use in your workplace. Whether you use these for yourselves, whether you use them as your team, whether you use these again as a bit of a plan for you to put something in place for Mental Health Awareness Week. But we've got 3 different resources for you all to access. So one is around getting more movement into your day, and this goes into a bit more detail about some of the things that we've talked about as well in today's webinar. Desk movement, so it's got some of those stretches that we've been talking about as well. So there's a neck stretch, upper body stretch, arm stretch, knee stretch, and a leg stretch. And then we've also got one for how you can move your mind at work as well, which there's a few more hints and tips on there about things that you can do. Thinking about it from that emotional and behavioural perspective, how you can move your mind from that aspect. Thank you all so much for watching the webinar, wherever it is that you may be. And thank you so much again for being one of our Mental Health Awareness Week champions. Like I said at the start, your donation has helped to fund some of our crucial frontline services and support people across the Bradford district and Craven with their mental health. So thank you so much. We wouldn't be able to do it without your support. I would love to know what activities you would be taking part in your workplace. So please feel free to tag us on social media. Our social media is at Mind in Bradford. And if anybody has any questions or you would like to know more about what you can do in your workplace or other workplace wellbeing training or resources, please do get in touch. Thank you all very much for watching. Take care. Thanks.